Oftentimes we can be way too desperate in our pursuit of something. And the irony is, if we pursue it with all of our might, we oftentimes don't get it. It actually goes away further. But if we give up our pursuit and have faith and receive instead, then we're actually able to grasp the thing that we're so desperately seeking. I think you can see this pretty clearly with uh, relationships. I've been in one of these before where I was so desperate to have this relationship with someone. It comes across as not attractive because you're obsessing over them. They become an idol and they cannot live up to that reality. And the person friend zones you or just flat out rejects you because they're not interested in following or engaging in that kind of behavior. They want a playful relationship where there's mutual play back and forth. And if you're just one sided, it's not attractive. And so, yeah, there was a time in my life where I was pursuing someone in a relationship like that and had to learn the hard lesson of letting them go. But by letting them go, I was free to engage in other relationships and finally receive who became my wife. And it's a interesting kind of paradox that if you really want something, you have to be able to let go of it and be free from it in order to receive it. If we're pursuing something too hard or we want it too badly, then it gets further away from us. And I think you can see this lesson pretty well in Star Wars. Think of Anakin Skywalker, right? The one thing that he wants above everything else is for his beloved Padme not to die. And so he literally does everything he can to make sure that this does not happen. He sells his soul to the dark side in order to learn these like powers to save her, right? And the incredible irony is the thing that he did to make his one dream come true is what turned into the worst reality of it coming true. Him pursuing the dark side crushed her heart because he was no longer the person that she fell in love with or knew, and she died from heartbreak. And yeah, just the incredible irony of him pursuing it with everything that he had, everything that he could. It's the one thing that he wanted, and he was unable to obtain it. In fact, the opposite came true. He lost her. And you can contrast that with Luke in episode 6. Luke, he's trying to restore balance to the Force, right? He's trying to defeat the Emperor, but you get the greater sense of he wants his father to be turned from dark to light. And so that's the thing he so desperately desires. And he goes in to the Emperor's throne room, faces off against the Emperor and his father in order to do this. And Luke, he's you can tell he's trying to be empty-handed because he originally gives away his lightsaber. He comes in, he says he's not going to fight. He's not going to chase and pursue that, right? And then he kind of gets tempted a little bit. He does face Vader. And then when he has the chance to kill him, he throws his saber aside and is empty-handed instead. And that's when the Emperor starts to use his lightning on him, and it looks like he's going to lose, right? But of course, the one thing that he wanted to happen, that he didn't force to happen, right? He just completely let go, completely let free of what he wanted to happen, and that is indeed what happened. And so the complete irony for Anakin and Luke being exact opposites, and that's what saved Anakin in the end. When he says at the end, you already have Luke. It's a crazy picture, but it shows you two opposing approaches to receiving something that you so desperately want. Anakin was super emotional and full of fear, and he clung to it with all of his might, and he lost what he so desperately wanted. And Luke was free and had faith that if he didn't try to do it on his own, it would happen. Like the force would help him in a sense. And so to not be attached is essential to be able to receive what you're longing for. If we do everything we can to try to receive the thing, it gets further away, and we idolize it, and yeah, we go crazy. This has been happening to me with like jobs right now. I've had a very difficult time the last few years with my work, and I've been literally obsessing is probably the right word over it, finding the right job and trying to find the right career and the right vocation. And for me, I did all the things, right? I did the personality tests. I did all the tests that you can take that help you determine what kind of career you want. Did all of those, went and saw a career counselor, like all the things I did. I did everything that you could possibly do, and it didn't help me at all because I was so desperate to find this thing and to get out of where I was that I was not free or open-handed to choose anything. I was just clinging on to uh, this this like mad hope for getting out of my situation. And so I haven't been able to get out of it until I mean I've been things have been changing recently, but I believe a lot of that is because within the last couple of weeks I've remembered and realized this truth when I was reading Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling. He talks about this with Abraham and Isaac and how one can give up, like sacrifice, like for that relationship I was talking about earlier. One can give up their pursuit of that special person, but then to believe and to receive that them giving up is going to have them receive in the end is an impossible thing to make sense of logically. That if you sacrifice what you're pursuing, you will receive it. Doesn't make any sense. And that's what he talks about there with like, it takes faith to do this thing, and no one's able to logically come to that conclusion. It doesn't make sense to give up what you're looking for, and then by that means of giving it up, you'll then be able to receive it. But that's exactly what happens in life, and it's not like a formula either. And that's kind of what he's getting at there. In that is that this isn't something that you can make happen, right? It's not like you can just give up what you're looking for and then boom, it's magically gonna fall from the sky. Abraham, in his story, he has faith in God who fulfilled promises before. So the object of his faith is secure, right? It's not like, I think the frozen over lake analogy is really good with the faith. It's, talking about like the object of your faith. So if it doesn't matter if I have all the faith in the world that the ice on that frozen lake is thick, if I run across that ice and that ice is yay big, I'm falling in the lake, right? It didn't matter how much faith I had in the ice. If the ice wasn't actually thick, it doesn't matter. The opposite is true too. Like if I only have just a little bit of faith, right? Scripture talks about a mustard seed. If you have a tiny bit and you crawl out on that ice barely, but that ice is thick all the way to the bottom of the lake, then you're golden, right? You'll make it across no problem, even though you just have a little faith, because the object that you have your faith in is solid. It's sure. And so for Abraham, his faith was in the creator of heaven and earth and the one who fulfilled promises that he already gave to him before. And so this impossible thought process of giving up his son, he received it, his son, even though it didn't make any sense. He received him again. And it's the incredible irony of kind of the whole thing that we're talking about here is, there's things in life that we so desperately want, right? It's like we want it more than anything else, and we spend all of our resources and time and energy devoted to that thing. But just like the relationship, if you focus on it too much, you're not going to get it. You're going to reflect it away, right? That girl that I pursued went away for a good purpose. I was a young, immature kid, and I'm still young and immature, but like you got to learn those kinds of hard lessons. And here I am learning it with work right now of, yeah, way too desperate to get out of my situation. And by being too desperate and pursuing it too much, there's no way I'm going to receive it. And so by giving up that pursuit, not being desperate, trusting and having faith, that's when you receive. Because the irony is when you're trying to grasp it, right? You're reaching out and you're grasping, you're trying. Your hands aren't open to receive it. You're unable to have open hands and receive what you're looking for because you're trying to get it on your own. And it's just a weird paradox. It's so humbling, right? Like it's so humbling to not be able to do it on your own. And I'm not getting with this that you're not able to do anything, right? Like this is not a formula and this is not a promise and there's nothing with any of that. But it's just the observation that when we're so desperate for what we really want, the answer is to let go of it, not to push in more. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now in my life. It's been a huge lesson, and it's so freeing to not be attached to the thing that we so desperately want. I think it's important to have vision. I think it's essential to have vision and to know where we want to go and what we're pursuing. But faith is so essential to the human experience, and it makes the journey, it makes it so much more exciting and worthwhile because I'm not slaving away entirety with my whole being trying to go up this mountain. I'm receiving a step at a time, patiently, what's right. And there's a balance to that. There's a balance in working hard, and then there's a balance in receiving. And we do not receive in our culture nowadays. Everyone tells you to go do it on your own terms, and to receive and really do have faith is seen as an impossible thing. But that's the world that we're in. Contentment is so rare, and to sit in that in between and be content is very hard. And so that's where I'm at this week. I shared this on my newsletter. If you're interested, you can go to my website, Mere Living, and subscribe to it. I'll share more insights like this every week on Fridays. And yeah, hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.